Good evening. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Here for the Horses. Glad you're here for the horses. We have some fun stuff set up today. So happy November, first of all. That snuck right up on us. It's November now. I want to talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about the homework for this week. Okay. We are going to talk about homework review. And I have a couple videos to watch. We're going to take a look at a photo and talk about that. And then we're going to watch a video and I have a little bit to talk about in regards to the video too. And I want to get some feedback from you guys on the video. Okay. So homework for this week. Are you ready? Let me pull it up. I took a photo of it just because. Here it is. It's going to be hind leg range of motion. Step 1 and step 2. Okay. So, oh, they have changed my layout a little bit. They're gonna mess me up. So here we go. Can you guys, is that gonna open?
There's a bunch of pictures.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's our remodeled kitchen.
Awesome.
When I say our, my husband did it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the homework. So we're doing range of motion assessment in the hind leg, part 1 and part 2. Okay, and then we're also going to do additional tips on range of motion. So the second half of that is the hind leg. So the additional tips on range of motion is the front and hind legs. So you can start it about halfway through, or you can just review the front leg range of motion additional tips. Okay, so remember for the hind part 1, you're just going to go straight up with the hind leg. Okay, so you're going to accordion it straight up. And then for the hind leg part 2, you're going to bring it forward and then you bring it back. Okay, and what you're looking for is a fluid range of motion that is correct for the horse that's in front of you, right? So your real like lanky legged horses, your finer muscle horses, those are going to have a longer range of motion, right? So kind of under their belly, possibly a little bit more forward, okay? For your stockier horses, they may not get to the middle of their belly, but you're gonna work on the horse that's in front of you. And I want you to do those leg range of motions 3 times. 3 times. So step 1, you only have to do once. So I want you to accordion that hind leg up. And you know, what you're looking for is, does it just go straight up? Okay. So if you have their hind leg, does it go straight up like this? And is it nice and smooth? And how high can they go up? Or does it go, okay? Because all of that tells you something. And if they have a hard time going straight up the first time, I want you to do it again. But in general, if they can go straight up and accordion that leg, no problem. The joints articulate really nicely, then you can move on to step 2. Okay. So that will be your homework. And that is in the clinic. I will, for those of you who do not have my clinic, I'll put that link in the notes, in the comments, and you guys can check it out.
Cool.
And then you can also just kind of watch some videos that I'll be putting out too. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. All right. Let me find the, feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat. Welcome, Karen. Nice to see you.
Hi, or not really see me, but
I know I can see your name. I can see your name. So there's the full course. if you need it. And the homework is based off the course, and we go through the course every week, different sections of the course. We have homework, so we're finishing up actually the entire horse this week, and then we're going to start back over. Okay, so now we're going to go back up to the head. It's going to be great because as you continue to get better, you're going to learn more things. A lot of you have multiple horses to work on. So it'll be easy for you to learn more as you continue to go through it, just as I continue to still learn more. Okay. Let's see. So that's your homework for this week, is the hind end leg range of motion. Now, those of you just joining, it's one of the hardest things I teach, so feel free to skip it. As those of you who have been with me a long time, lateral flexion of the neck to be done correctly and leg range of motion are the two hardest things that I teach. Okay. They're the hardest. One, because the horse is really good at cheating. And two, it takes finesse and timing and some physical ability. So they are by far the hardest things that I teach. So if you're not comfortable jumping in right there, feel free to not do that, and you can just watch everybody else. So once you get my clinic, for those of you who don't know, you are invited onto a personal coaching page on Facebook. And on that coaching page, you will see it today. We have videos that can be submitted, and then I do a voiceover on them, and then you get to submit your videos and learn kind of little tips and tricks as we go along. So it's pretty fun. Well, I like it. I don't know about anybody else, but. Okay, so that is the homework. Any questions on homework? I will shoot out some videos. There are a lot of examples. There are definitely some tips and tricks to it. So we'll get started on those. Marge, how comfortable are you with doing those?
I guess I haven't done that lately.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think I can. Never know about Zanzibar, but
Okay.
but we'll see.
Yeah, let me know if you're having any issues. Get a hold of me, okay?
Okay.
Because I think it's going to be really important for your horse, because I think what's going to loosen that back up is going to be the leg range of motion forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
You're
I've
like,
done
"Dang
it before, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Okay. No worries. Okay, there you go. I do want to look at a couple excellent videos that you guys just submitted. Well, you submitted them a while ago and I just now got to them. So let's take a look at those. One of them is going to be, this has got to move out of the way. Let's see, go to Facebook. So here is the coaching clinic, the coaching group. Nope, that's not it. To get to the coaching group, it's Winning Your Horse's Heart Coaching Community. Okay, so the videos that I want to take a look at, there's Sue and Boone. We're going to talk about this photo. I have a funny story. Not funny, but whatever. You got to laugh at stuff. Let's talk about Buckaroo. Spine wiggle first. This was very well done. Okay, so this is the video I want to take a look at. Now, I was talking to you guys about the spine wiggle, and you kind of have to get it going so that it moves the whole spine. Okay, so you want the whole spine of the horse to go like this, and you want it to start from the dock of the tail. Okay, and what I want to bring up in this video is how well Leanne, like, I'll call it prime the pump. Okay, so she held on to the dock of the tail and she primed the pump. So she started really small and she got bigger with it. Stick knight here, and I'll mute myself. Hold on. Okay, so I want you to watch how she started small and got him ready for that. I'm like, this is a big old horse. So it's always nice to warm them up, but look at how she starts him. She tries to get that body moving, which is great. Okay. So sometimes when you go in and you grab that tail and you instantly start going into the tail, the spine wiggle, it doesn't go all that great. Right there, I was like, let's watch it again because it was good. So she starts, boom, move it, move it, move it, move it. Okay, and then get into a rhythm. Okay, because you never know what the rhythm is going to be for that particular horse. Sometimes, like with Boone, a little bit faster worked better. And then with Adobe, nice and slow is good. Okay. Does everybody see how she did that? I like that. Okay. So that's the spine wiggle. The next one I want to show is just Adobe because this one went really well. And I want you guys to watch his whole body. You can see, you can't really see the spine from this point of view, can you? But you can see the whole side of his body and how nicely, see, she's kind of trying to find the rhythm right now. Oh yeah, and he's not doing it because his head's down and he's eating. But she gets she makes him put his head up a little bit later. So when their head's down, they can't do it. It doesn't work. Okay, so this is a good example of like it's not moving nicely, right? But then watch when she puts the head up. She makes that poor horse put his head up. Poor thing. Okay, so watch this. Oh, there it is. You see it? Can everyone see that? That's so nice. Isn't that beautiful? This is what I'm talking about, this. All the way through to the nose, goes in a circle. Isn't that nice? That feels good. Okay, and so you can kind of see how much force she's using. This is a big horse. Okay, so some horses, if you did this on Chester, he'd be like, oh my gosh, he'd be all over. You would have whipped him around. Okay, so but this is a big horse, so you need to kind of use more oomph. Okay, so did everyone see that wiggle? That just sway, super nice. All right, there's Adobe. Buckaroo. Well, this is one I wanted to bring up. There's little Doodlebug. Little Doodlebug was that Doodlebug's first tail pull? Yeah, so cute. The look on the little donkey just did this. It was so funny. Oh man. I love it. Donkeys are funny. They're not as expressive, I don't think. So you really need to pay a lot of attention. A lot of attention. I just saw a video and it's like bothering me. They were using a mule as a bucking horse in a rodeo, and I thought, you idiots, don't use a mule, man. They're gonna plot your death. I just would never want to get, be around a mule that was used for that because I don't know, they're gonna hold a grudge. It's gonna be bad. Anyways, what am I looking for? I've been thinking about it ever since I saw it. Buckaroo. Oh, I want to talk about this one. Yeah, Buckaroo. Okay, this is a great video. So this is Buckaroo's legs. Okay. When you're doing body work, there's like people ask me, should I let my horse eat? Okay. I'm there to learn everything I possibly can about them and to find like the smallest spots of tension and to just, I'm trying to figure out everything possible. So I generally do not want them to eat. And this is a great video to see why, okay? Because on this side, Buckaroo was eating. Okay, and she did all the leg work on this left hind, all the inside lower leg work, a little bit of the upper leg there, and very little reaction to her work. Okay, very little. I think he might have done like one release. Okay, but then when she flipped him around, I'm going to fast forward because he literally had no reactions. When she flipped him around, watch this. So he doesn't get to eat now because the food's gone. Oh, he mad. He mad the food's gone. That's the first thing. You better give me that food bin back. Look, there's a blink. There's a blink. Look, concentrate. He was going in the zone right there, wasn't he? Tail's slightly lifted. Yep, checking out what she's doing. Look at that. There's the yawn. Okay. There's the reaction. Now he's fidgeting. Okay, fidget before release. Right? For the most part, I think I said something about don't chew on them fancy lead ropes. There's another release. Okay, fidget before release. Remember, guys? I'd get him one of them $9.99 lead ropes, though, to let him do that. There we go. So there's another fidget. So on this side, you're seeing this whole different story. And it's like, oh, look here. Okay. Look there. There's a lick and chew. He's paying attention. Look, oh, he's gone in the zone, right? Oh, he's back. Okay, in and out. So, oh, here comes another yawn. Okay. So I like this example. This is an awesome example. Where you get to go, you get to think to yourself, and this is the homework that I left for Leanne is, so do you think that it was his right hind that had more tension? Okay, because he released more. Or was it because he was eating on the left hind and was not processing it as well, was like distracted by the food, but there's still that tension? You don't know. That's why that was such a cool video. So if you have access to that video, go in there and watch it. It's a totally different experience. So that the right hind where he was not allowed to eat is the reason I normally don't want them to eat, because I want to see every single thing that's happening. I want every emotion. I want everything because I want the full story. But sometimes I will use food as a distraction. Okay. So if I already know the area that needs work, or I have a horse that just blah, blah, blah the whole time, always has to be doing something, you know, I'll use food to keep them occupied while I get into areas that they possibly don't really want me in. Okay. And I'll just know that my work is going to be done. And they'll be happier for that. So if I know that they're going to be upset about what I have to do, but food overcomes that, I will definitely let them eat some food. Okay, does that make sense? So use that to your advantage if you need to. And sometimes you will need to. Sometimes you'll need to. And it's a great thing to have available for you. And then also there's some horses that, you know, some horses get fed 3 times a day at this time, and this time. And if you disrupt their plan, like they're just going to be ornery. So let them eat. Okay. So we're not trying to, we're going to work with whatever horse is in front of us. Some are very schedule oriented. If you start messing with that schedule, they can turn into little monsters. So just do what's best. But as for, I love that video because it showed, like, I don't know, was there the same tension on the other side, but he was eating, so you don't know? I don't know. So I think I told Leanne to experiment. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So that was Buckaroo's legs. You know, eating versus not eating was the kind of the idea behind that. Okay, and then those of you who joined a little late got our homework is the hind leg range of motion, part 1 and 2, and then also the additional. Okay. So we'll be doing that. Any questions on any of those videos that I showed? You can unmute also if you like. Okay. So let's talk about a photo.
I have a question.
Sure.
On my mare, she has a really tight back and super tight, down her hind end, and she struggles with when the farrier's here lifting her hind end up. She's 22 years old, and I didn't do a very good job on massage with her. My PEMF machine is her best friend. I get more releases from that, but I'm guessing from this hind end release, that's kind of where I need to focus at for her.
100%.
So,
And
yeah.
I have a series called the Soreback series.
Okay.
And Wanda, I know you took it. Leanne, did you take that one? Sue, couple of you have.
I took it.
It talks about why, if it's not a saddle issue and it's not a riding issue and it's not, something else, I can't remember what the other one was. I generally always point to the hind end. And then I talk in that series about all the muscles that make that happen. Okay. And then we go into detail on those muscles. And then we palpate the back. So you want to test it first. You want to assess the back, give it a number, right? You want to say, you assess the back. I'm going to give this back a 6. Okay. So they're not dying, but it's not great. And I don't really like it. Okay. And then you're gonna do the work on the hind end, including glutes, hamstrings, lower legs, and then, everything even from the hock down, we even work that. And then you do a leg range of motion down and forward, okay? And then we also take a look at adductors because that can play a role. And then you go back and assess the back again, and you see what are you now at. So if you went from a 6 to a 1, right on. If you went from a 6 to a 5, probably not it, right?
Okay.
If you went from a 6 to a 3, do it again the next day. And are you now at a 0? Okay.
Okay.
And then you need to assess why do they have a sore back.
Right.
So really exciting stuff. Wanda's husband is a farrier, and Wanda and him have been implementing these different things that they've learned and have had fantastic results. So I was actually he's on one of the photos. He was the farrier of the guy I put up. So I was talking to him and her after those photos got put up, and I think we're gonna find a real cute name for it. It's gonna be like Farrier's Delight or something, and we're gonna do specific things that Wanda and Jeremy have found have been instrumental in making their clients happier. And this is going to be from the viewpoint of a farrier. So hold on, it's coming. He's got to go kill an elk and then come on back, and then we're going to get that out. And I'm really excited about that because farrier issues, so common and so sad is what it really is. It's just sad. It's just sad. And it's anxiety for the horse and for the farrier and for the owner. So I'm excited about that. And I think it's going to be really helpful for people. So you can check out all my videos on hind end and lower legs. That's what you're going to want to do. You're also going to want to look at all videos on hind end range of motion and start implementing those before the farrier comes out.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then that's going to make a big, big difference. And then also, walk your horse 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the farrier comes out and loosen them up that way, or trot.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about a photo. You guys, I got in trouble. You can't help it. Let's see here. You guys saw this photo I put up. So on my private page, this is the private page here, I put this photo up, and we do, I call it a game, I guess. It's kind of a game. I say, tell me what you see. And I want you to tell me what part of this horse is tight. Okay. And I don't know why. Well, I do kind of know why. I find a lot of these photos on this national brand identification site. So think about it. Who's trying to find out where a brand came from. Well, people who just bought a horse from an auction. Those are most of the people, okay? So this is, you know, obviously this is an auction house, right? You can kind of tell by looking at it. So this horse got bought, I mean, they're all in a pen. You got one jammed up the butt of the other, right? They're all in a pen. So this horse is clearly at an auction, was probably purchased by this person, and this person wants to know what this brand is. It's a beautiful brand, I'll be honest with you. And so I see that photo and I immediately go, ah, oh my gosh, that poor horse. Okay. So as most of you said in the comments, this makes me cringe. Yeah, me too. Okay. Poor horse needs everything from the ribs, belly, stifle, glutes, back legs, worked. Shannon says needs everything. I don't know what B means. Oh, the brand. Okay. Lots of work, ribs, glutes, point of hip, tensor fascia latae, loin, hamstrings. Rita says tight, tight, tight. Okay, we have everything. There's not anything on this horse that's loose, right? Is there a loose spot on this horse that you guys can find that I can't see? There's nowhere. Everything is tight. Everything is tight. Leanne, I think you brought this up. Yeah, I'm concerned also. I'm concerned also. That's not good. And yeah, TFL Wanda says abs look like they're holding their breath. And this horse is not skinny. Okay, this horse is tight. This is a great example of a horse that is at body weight, but is tight. So you see the ribs and it makes them look skinny. You give me 1.5 hours, maybe a tiny bit more with this horse, and she's going to look fluffy. I promise you, because I'm going to loosen all of that up. Okay. So I couldn't help myself because I stay out of people's business for the most part. But when I see something like this, I go, oh, dang, no, no, no. I am on the earth to help horses. And so I'm going to contact this owner and I'm going to offer her some help. And if she would like me to, yeah, even how it's standing is tight. Yeah, there's nothing good about this photo. Okay. But, so I contacted her and I have a tendency to be like a little too straightforward sometimes. And I forget that like people don't know me and that I need to probably work my way into a conversation with them. But I was like, hey, I'm a massage therapist. I do this for a living. I can, if you still own that Pinto, that looks like you got from an auction. Looks like she's going to need some help with some body work and I'd be glad to help you with that. Just shoot me a message and I can send you some videos. And she wrote back and she was like, how can you tell from a photo? And I was like, well, I mean, look at the photo, first of all. And then she said, it's not a Pinto, it's an American paint. And I was like, who cares? Give me a break. And then she said she was at an auction and she's home now and she's fine. And I was like, oh no. Even if she is better at home, and I'm sure she is, of course she's better, right? She's going to be better. That tension, it did not leave her body when she got onto your property. That tension is stored in her body and she still needs your help. So that was, upsetting that was the response that I got because I was kind of hoping for more of like, oh, really? Okay. But I didn't get that. So, oh well. So yeah, she wasn't happy with my response. But there's nothing on here that doesn't need work. And I hope she is doing better. I hope she's doing fantastic now. But remember, tension is accumulated over time and it is stored. Okay. You cannot tell me that horse is loose and soft and supple. It's not possible. I don't know. I just don't think it is. So that didn't work out, but I hope that I planted a seed in her head and she's secretly watching my videos and trying them. That's what I hope. And then later, like she can come and like watch and come to my Zoom meetings and I won't remember her name. So she can just sneak in and she can help her horse even more. That's the plan. Yeah, that was a sad photo. I try not to put them up. I try not to put them up when they're that bad, but there was nothing on there. I try to normally trick you guys, but the correct answer was everything's tight. Everything's tight on that. Okay. Um, any questions? I try to stop talking for a little while. I'm going to show you guys a video that I put up. It is of Star. Star is I think Arabian, maybe half Arabian, little gelding, 16 hands, super cute, super sweet, came to my clinic, did a great job. Her owner is like a 10-year-old girl and they're just the cutest thing. So I got to massage Star and I put a little clip of the video up and I'm actually going to put the whole video up for you guys in the coaching community if you want to watch the whole video because it was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun massage. But I want to watch the video and my homework for the population of the world was to tell me what is the horse doing that shows you when I am on tension. So as I'm massaging, what is the horse doing that tells you, oh, there's tension there? Because you guys can't feel it. I can feel it. But what is it that the horse is doing? So let's watch that video quick. Let me pull it up though. It's on a different site. And let's watch it. And we're going to watch it a couple times. And we'll figure out this mouse has a little to be desired for. Okay. Oh, great. Where'd it go? That's not it. 900 sites here. There we go. Okay. So here's the video. We're going to watch it. And then I want you guys, whoops. I want you guys to pay attention and look for one. I want you to look for when is this horse showing tension? And two, I'm going to mute myself because I give it away a couple times. Two, when are they showing that they have released tension or are now relaxing out of the tension? Okay, those are the two things I want you to watch for. Here we go. Cute little thing. Okay. So before we watch it again, feel free to unmute. Tell me a couple things that you saw.
I can go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, when he was tense or you hit a tense spot for him, he would raise his head and back away, and he did it twice.
Yep.
Then when he relaxed out of it, he would didn't really step forward, but he put his head down and, more level-headed.
Exactly. So I noticed that some of the people caught that he would raise his head up. That's a typical I have tension there move. Okay. So anytime, especially when you're working on their face, anytime they raise their head up, that's tension. Okay. So I want you to hone in on all these little tiny things. And sometimes they'll be like here, and then they'll go as if they're looking at something. That's still tension. That's not only tension, but it's a distraction move. They're like, you should look over there where I'm looking because there's something over there. And I don't want you to keep doing what you're doing. Okay. So anytime they raise their head, I'm gonna call that tension. Because what you want is them just to do this. And anywhere you go on their head, it should always stay the same. They shouldn't raise it like that for some reason. And as he did it like that, and then he took 3 steps back. So a lot of people caught the raising of the head, but they didn't catch the backing up. Backing up is another classic move of I kind of want to get out of here. Okay, you're on some tension. Okay.
Also, the hardness or softness of the eyes.
Yeah, for sure. So his eye tells a ton, right? So big bug-eyed Arabian, or like, hello, his eye got real like sleepy. Okay, so his eye gave him away also. Right? What else did you guys see? We're gonna watch it one more time so you can kind of ignore the things that caught your eye the first time and check it out the second time.
When you were first rubbing his muzzle, I was thinking that he might have had a hyoid issue, because he ended up releasing. At first, he was just nibbling on you, and then he ended up being releasing. So that made me think that he has hyoid issues in his head.
Yeah, hyoid or jaw or cheek. So
Yeah,
on
yeah.
him, you couldn't really hear it, but this side of the throat latch was tight and this side was loose. So behind the jaw. Okay. Sometimes, with the real mouthy horses, Arabians in general, they're always dinking around with something. So you kind of have to go like, is that something? But you're always paying attention because you never know. And if they have, if they release after they chew on something, then go check it out. Exactly. Now, what's it going to hurt? If the hyoid's loose, cool, move on. It's an easy check. Okay. Anything else before we watch it one more time? All right, let's watch it again here. So let's look at some things that he obviously likes it. And maybe has it's corresponding to him loosening up. Okay. And then maybe some other signs that he doesn't like it. Let's check it out. Here's the back up and the head up. He had a lot of facial, the fascia on his face was tight. So as that loosened up, there you go, licking and chewing. Head goes down. There you go. So he's also kind of trying to put me on a spot. Do you guys tell that by turning his head like that?
Yeah.
I didn't listen to him, but. Okay, right there, what's he saying?
More.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's blinking at you like to go
yeah.
back.
It's like, you didn't need to stop. I was cool. Keep going. So that's always something to pay attention to. Like, you know, what is their response when you stop? Is it, okay, now is my chance to escape? Or is it, what? No, you could have kept going. Because, you know, for those Stoic horses, you need to give them breaks. Look at his eyes.
I love it.
Gosh, he's cute. Okay, he's backing up again because I'm on that right side neck that's tight. Oh, there's a good spot. There's the tail went up. Okay, so we had some movement, we had some tail, we had some eyes. Couldn't check too much about the breathing. You know, breathing would have been a cool one to pay attention to on him. I think it would have been pretty erratic just because he didn't stay in a sense of relaxation for long enough for his breathing to have completely relaxed. But I also was not facilitating that by giving him a slow massage or a soft massage. I was kind of moving around a little bit too much for that. And, you know, when I'm doing a first massage on a horse, I kind of have to get through the body. So, unless that is exactly what they need, or I can tell right away that's what they need, I'll try to move through the body quickly, depending on if I'm going to run out of time with some of them time out, or if I have like a lot of work to do. You know, if I have a lot of work to do, I have to kind of get through the body to see where the work is and then spend the time on the work. So he didn't get a super relaxing massage. He got kind of a vigorous one, with a lot of therapeutic benefit. Okay. So kind of cool to watch horses carefully. And he had some really typical signs. Okay. So I'll find some videos of some quieter horses. Maybe your more stoic horses, you know, we'll get the one eyeball or the one nostril, right? Where you got to be like, oh, there it is. Right. You know, Buckaroo is a fun one because, you know, how do you tell Buckaroo you're on a spot? Anybody remember him? He gets real quiet. He goes from ding, 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 ding to that's when you're on a spot with him. Because he's always looking around, you know. That's kind of if Buckaroo were like a person, it'd be like this. And then, you know, when you hit a spot, he goes. Okay, so that's cool to know. So when you have a real talkative horse and they get quiet all of a sudden, that's something to pay attention to. Okay. And then with your real stoic horses, you know, you get one nostril flare and a half of a blink, and that's what you have to pay attention to. Okay. Or a real weird look. That's what you have to pay attention to. Or their breath. Okay. Okay. Karen asked me a cool question today. She said, I'm going to paraphrase now because I don't remember it exactly, but she said, how much of it do you look for signs of relaxation and release, and how much of it is feeling the muscle release? Okay. So how much of the time can you feel the muscle and then have, you know, or how much of the time do you see a physiological release? That's a great question. And my answer to it was, you should get both, ideally. Okay. It's really fun when you get both. So when you're working on a horse, you feel for tight muscles. First point, all muscles should be loose. For some people, they have this idea, right, that, well, my horse is really buff, so that's why their muscles are tight. They're not supposed to be tight. It doesn't matter how buff they are. Okay, all muscles should be loose, soft, and supple when they're not contracting. Okay, so your goal is to always have loose muscles. The second point is it doesn't matter how big the muscle is or where it's at in the body. You want it to still feel soft and supple. Okay, so the glute muscles are huge. Okay, extensors and flexors down the legs, very small. But they should all be loose, and they should kind of be equally loose. Like they're going to have the same kind of feel to them, just depending on the size. Okay. So you want all muscles to be loose. So when you find a tight muscle, things to look for is, you know, does the horse give you a sign that the muscle is tight? Okay, so with that little gelding star, when I hit that upper neck on the right side, head went up. One, you heard me on there. I said, oh, that's tight. Okay, so that muscle in the upper neck was tight to the touch. And he went like, oh, I'm going to back up and put my head up in the air. Okay, so you got both. You got tactile sense and you got response, physiological response. Okay, so then you continue to work that. What's really fun is when you can feel the muscle start to loosen and give way, and then the horse licks and chews, shakes their head and yawns. That's fun. Okay, so that happens a lot. Sometimes with your very stoic horses, it's generally the stoic ones, the muscle will release and feel much better, but they do not have a physiological response like licking and chewing, putting their head down, breathing. Okay, so you continue on. Okay, I got it. I felt it. It feels, you know, in school they said if you can get a horse, if you can get a muscle to relax by 30%, that's pretty good. I don't like that. I'll say 60%. I mean, I'm going to go for 60%. 30 ain't doing it for me. Sorry. If I loosen a horse up by 30%, I'm not feeling that was a very successful massage. Okay. But if you can feel it loosen up to a point where it feels better, move on to something else. Whether there was a physiological response or not, come back and check it. And if you come back and check it, it's still loose. Good job. And then what you might find is that this is where the brakes come in really handy with your stoic horses, and not always stoic. Sometimes the loud ones need it also. Give them a break as you have done something, turn your back, walk 4 feet. And I say 4 feet because you need to get out of their space. It needs to be more than just turning your back. Okay, or it needs to be more than just stopping. That's not enough for some horses. That's why at liberty in a paddock where they can literally walk away from you to the point that they are comfortable to release is the best way to go. Because I mean, I have, you know, I work on Andalusian mares, man. Okay, Andalusian mare, she walking 15 feet. And she's going to have her butt toward me, so I'm not looking at her, and I turn my back. And then she's going to release over in the corner and then say, okay, now. And then when she's ready, she comes back. That's how serious some of them are about not releasing in front of you. You know, Masterson method talks about horses will hide their head behind a blanket and release. You know, you take the blanket off and you hang it up. They'll put their head behind a blanket to release. They don't want you looking at them. And I joke about it. You know, some of them are mad when they release. I call those angry releases. They don't want to release, but they couldn't help it. Okay. So sometimes they will hold off on that physiological release. So you won't get the pleasure of them going together at the same time. And then sometimes, you know, there'll be a release. Oh, hi puppy. There'll be a release in their body physiologically, but the muscle hasn't completely gone yet. It's not generally that way. Normally you get the muscle first and then the release follows. But it's all part of the process, so you got to figure your horse out. Okay, so that was an excellent question. Thank you, Karen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great response, Erin. Thanks so
Okay.
much for that.
You bet. Thanks for the question. I love that stuff. It's stuff I don't think about, you know. So anytime you guys have questions, shoot them over. It's good for people too. Like I enjoyed watching people kind of go through that too and like watch it and then have that follow-up question and be like, oh yeah, that's a great topic. Okay. All right. So any other questions? We have our homework for this week. Are we ready to roll?
I had just one more comment to follow up on what you were just saying.
Mhm.
When I first started massaging Ellie, she would never release, even if I walked away. But about 10 or 15 minutes later, I might catch her and, you know, if I could see her, and then she would just be yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning like back to back to back. But if I just walked away 4 feet and waited 10 minutes, she wouldn't do anything. So she really held her releases in. She's better now, but
Yeah. Oh
when I
yeah,
first
she's a lot
started
better.
massaging her, she just would not let me see him.
Yep. It's funny you say that because that day I massaged that horse called Star, right? Which he released fine. He didn't release a lot though, so I was a little bit surprised because it was just kind of little stuff. Like I didn't get a yawn at him or anything. And I was like, okay, he's in pretty good shape. That's fine. The next horse I massaged was called Dez. And as I'm massaging Dez, I can hear Star in the stall yawning. And it's on the video, on Dez's video, where I'm like, Star, are you okay in there? And Star went to the bathroom and you could just hear him yawning and yawning and yawning. So he was holding it in. And it was like when we were out of his space, out of his mind, you know, he's in his own room. He had total privacy. That's when he actually released. So that was interesting, just like Ellie. You know, it was probably 20 minutes later. Yeah. So that's very common. And generally they will get over that. They'll get over that. Yeah, Sue, you were there, weren't you? Remember that?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
he went on for a long time.
A long time. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, thanks, Leanne. You like my horse impersonations? Oh my gosh, who was it that someone just put a comment up on the public site and they were like, I'm so glad you talk to your horses because I'm not the only one. And I was like, oh honey, you have found your people. We are all here. You can't make us not talk to them, you know, like we can't help it. I'm doing impersonations over here, you know, I got voices going on. Yeah. I'm like, you're in the right group. Stick around. It was fun. Okay, anything else, guys?
I was about to type something, but I'll just ask you about, you know, the sore back series. I saw that. I mean, does it have a lot more than just in the, you know, in the online course? Does it have a lot more information?
It's different. So,
Mhm.
you know, Wanda, what do you think? Because you have both. I'll pull it up here. I go into a lot more reasons and stuff. So yeah.
I guess I took that. I have that old mare, and she's always been a little funny with her SI joint. She's 31 now. We haven't ridden her in a couple of years, but she was a daily driver for a long time. So I kind of took that for her because she stopped laying down a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And I have to say, I've taken a lot of crap about that, about not euthanizing her, but she's, you know, she's seen routinely by our horse vet and she seems to be fine. She just doesn't want to get up and down anymore. And she is sound. There's nothing wrong with her. But it's something in her, I don't know, whatever it is. So that was why I took it. I had a kind of I don't know, I just felt like I needed a little more information. And but I appreciated a lot of what you said about a sore back isn't typically a sore back. It's saddle fit, it's a training issue, it's a fitness issue, it's a foot issue. Where I'm at, we have a lot of really heavy bodied horses, so we see a lot of stifle injuries, a lot of hock injuries. And I really appreciated that you talked about, you know, it might not be a sore back. It may be something particularly further down the line, so to speak. So that was why I took it. And I thought it was interesting. I did more things with that old horse that I've got. She's still not laying down, but she's, you know, she's mobile. She goes everywhere with those geldings, and, you know, it seems to be fine. But I don't know. That was what I got out of it. I appreciate, you know, I always appreciate it when you talk about the specific muscles and where things insert and where they originate. Is I'm just kind of that scientist type. So I appreciate that when you talk about that, and when you talk about, you know, maybe you need to move this a little bit differently. Maybe you need to move it against gravity, or maybe you need to move it however. So that was what I got out of it. It's definitely worth my time.
Yeah, and it was, I think we ended up on three sessions. So it's a fair amount of information. I broke it up into 3 weeks. First week, we talked about, you know, how to palpate the back and that it's not always a back issue. Second week, we talked about all the muscles in the hind end and where they insert, like Wanda was saying. And then I gave a bunch of videos. So there's a lot to watch. Like, you get to watch that. And then, you know, everyone submitted videos also. So I gave voiceovers on those. I gave muscle charts too. And then we did the finale. But, so does that answer your question, Marge? It's pretty in depth.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, I don't, like, if I'm touching backs, I don't see any, like, dip down usually, or, you know. And the only
Perfect.
question I have is, twice now, but it's been like 2 months apart. When I rode Zanzibar, and I rode him again yesterday, and all of a sudden, you're just walking off, so he throws his head down, jumps forward, and bucks.
That's not good.
No, it's not. Both times, I mean, I stayed on, I lateral flexioned him and got off.
Okay.
But, and then, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know, it's the same saddle I've had since I've had him. I don't
Has he
know.
changed though?
He's gotten a little, he put on a little weight. He has his girth, he's up a bigger size of girth. You know,
Yeah,
just,
so
you know,
that could
not
be
much, but,
for
you know,
sure
so I don't know.
a
you know.
reason is a saddle fit issue.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send you the palpate the back video so that you can
Okay.
watch that and try it out.
Okay.
And I want you to let me know how that goes. And then I want you to, okay, one thing I say is horses do not buck out of nowhere that don't buck.
Yeah, I know. And it's weird. And both times was like, just all of a sudden, jump
Yeah.
forward, throw his
So
head down.
that's something.
But it was like
that's a big red flag.
about 2 months apart. And one, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely something, you know, if
Yeah,
they're
it
if they're
seems
not
like
green
it.
broke and underside, you know, just starting under
It
saddle,
seems like
they
it.
don't buck out of nowhere.
Why? I don't want to ride this horse anymore.
I
Yeah.
bet. I don't blame
Yeah.
you. Tell him
Yeah,
Auntie Erin's
so-
gonna come over and put her butt up on him.
I wish you
So
could.
yeah, let me shoot you those videos and you can check them out and see
Okay,
what you
I
think.
appreciate it. Thank you.
One thing I was scrolling, I just kind of showed you the layout here as
Mhm.
Wanda was talking. But here is step 1
Oh, for this.
for the
this
leg
one.
range of motion.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you guys see how this leg is drawing back instead of straight up? Can you all see that?
Mhm.
That is not straight up. That leg is drawing back. Okay. So that's a tight hamstring or a extensor. I think it was an extensor on this horse. Okay, because this leg should be forward about 4 inches. Straight, this pastern would be here, and that hock would be here, not back like that. Okay, same thing when they draw too far forward, that's a tight TFL. Okay, so I just thought that photo was a great example of how, I don't know what I'm saying in this, But this leg, as I brought it up, went back instead of straight up. So you might run into that this week in your homework, so check that out. And, you know, pay attention when you see that. Okay. Michelle said a neighbor of mine had a bucking issue with her horse and recently discovered he has his kidneys flushed. He needs his kidneys flushed. Yeah, there are so many things, you guys. Just like I was talking to you guys about that poor horse that got put down eventually, and then they did a dissection on it and they found the ribs were broken and the ribs didn't heal. Because I guess ribs don't heal very well unless they're the first 8 ribs that are attached to the sternum. So one of the ribs was attached to the sternum, you know, the first 8, and then the rest were the floating ones, and they don't heal properly. You know what? I'm gonna put that up so you guys can check it out. It's fascinating and so sad also. So that horse had a tendency to flip over, and I assume that during one of its little flip over things, broke its ribs, and then the ribs never healed, and then it just kept flipping over. So that's a fun pattern. Okay, so I'll find that and I'll put that up, because I mean, we don't know, do we? Who would have known kidneys? I don't know, but you do know that they don't buck out of nowhere. Right? But we can't tell half the time. They don't flip over out of nowhere. Unless they're thoroughbred, then they just do it for fun. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, you got to try to figure stuff out. That poor horse had broken ribs for the cartilage, you know, healed in there, but the rib would still move. It's horrible. Okay, so there's always something weird going on with them. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. I will talk to you all this week, or see messages and videos. If you have anything going on, message me, and I'll probably shoot out some I have massages this week, so I will show you some videos of leg range of motion in the hind end. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.